Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I gave the entire wormery a makeover. Look how nice and clean. I just couldn't stand that table here in the middle anymore. It was driving me crazy. Yesterday morning when I was down here working with them, I was on my little rolly cart and I was emptying these bins and I rolled backwards and I hit my head so hard in the corner of that table. That's what threw me into a whirlwind. I got so pissed off. I said, that's it. This is moving out of here. And that's exactly what I did. And it took me a few hours. So as you can see, it took me a few hours. And Joe came down and it's like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. He loved it. So I did kind of like a spring cleaning type thing. I mean, I rolled out these bins, I swept behind them, I cleaned on top of them. I still have to do like up here, and I have to do my supplies over here that I need to like organize these. But you see, these shelves here, I use them like on a daily basis when I work with them. You know, if I have to reach for a thermometer or my glasses or a little bucket for whatever. You know, these are the things that I have handy all the time. But I just don't like the way it looks. It looks like unkept. So you could tell I have OCD, right? Look. But you know, I love the finished, polished, organized look, because in something like this, I mean, a worm farm doesn't have to be immaculate. It will never be immaculate. Worm farming is one of the dirtiest careers I've ever done. But there has to be organization so that you can keep up on what's going on, because you can easily forget one of these bins, and when you look again, the worms are dead. And I tell you this because I've done it myself. I sure have. I have to make more chow. This is another one of my favorite little gadgets. And the wall is growing here. And over here, I have this thing. This is what I use to sift. I just put it here for storage. And then down here, I have some of my supplies that they just didn't fit in my bins here. So I just put them there neatly, and we're gonna keep that as storage there. So those of you that are new here, I don't know if you've seen Harvey. Let me take you to see Harvey. So Harvey is a sifter that Joe and I built, and it has a motorized motor on it, and the whole thing vibrates. It's very loud. That's why I use mostly the other sifter I have, the wooden one, because my daughter's room is nearby. And when this thing vibrates, it vibrates the whole room. So yeah, it works wonderful though. I'm supposed to regulate the speed with this, but I think this thing is broken. But the whole thing shakes. And what happens is I start with a 1/4 inch up here, and then down here we go to the 1/8, and then down here finally the castings fall. And I'm sure any little cocoons will fall, or little baby worms. Believe it or not, the 1/8 catches most of it, but it's never gonna catch all of it. It'll never be perfect, but that's okay. I mean, it does the majority of it. I named it Harvey for harvester. So I thought you guys would like to see that. That's an extra lamp I have up there in case I need light, but when I use this thing, I take it off because I'm always afraid it's gonna vibrate and it's gonna fall, and it's a light bulb, you know. So, and then I have my TV up there where I watch all your videos. So let's take a peek at one of these bins here. This is the great thing about having a cart like this nearby. You can just pick up your bin and put it there. It's so much easier. So these worms are really multiplying, and they're doing very well. I have to, the moisture feels good on this one. It's very moist down here in the middle. So I noticed that there are certain bins on this wall that dry out more than others. Like this one, that one there, the air must hit it perfect because it dries out more than the others. So I keep a close eye on that one. But these worms are doing well. These are red wigglers, which are also Eisenia fetida for those of you that are new here. People also call them manure worms, tiger worms. They got all kinds of names. Look, that's a little one right there. And you'll know that the Eisenia fetida has like a little yellow tail most of the time. Sometimes I don't see the brightness of the yellow tail. Some have it more pronounced than others. Like, see this one, that's a little yellow tail. But you'll also notice that European night crawlers, they also have a little yellow tail. They're like the bigger cousin of the red wiggler, let's just say. But these worms are doing great. I'm hoping to have worms up for sale in the spring. That's the goal. That is the goal. So, but look at them. And yes, I have a lot of springtails. But springtails, they don't hurt anything. They don't hurt the worms. They compost everything just like the worms. The thing with springtails is, if you let them get in huge numbers, like their population grows, they'll compete for the food. So you always want to make food you always want to make sure your worms have food. So the way I cut down the springtail population is by letting the bin dry out a little bit. Like, I'll fluff it up, I'll leave the cover off, and as the bin dries out, springtails disappear. But you have to be careful because you don't want to dry it too much to where the worms will die. So, but guys, that's the easiest way. I know someone on here that watches me that they buy springtails, and honestly, I wouldn't even know how to ship that, or how do you collect them all? I have no idea. But there are people that do that. They buy them, I guess, for their pets. I'm not sure. So they're doing well. So I'll keep you updated on everything, obviously. But today's Monday, and I'm gonna go to work later tonight. So this will be a lot easier to manage without having that thing in the middle. My gosh, guys, that was driving me crazy. I couldn't stand it anymore. So let's cover this up, and let's put them back. So I put the 3 nursery tubs I had in there, I put them out here in my middle room until I move into the spare room I was telling you about. And it's over here by my daughter's things. She moved out, then she moved back home, and all her things are there in boxes. But I want to show you. Let's check on tub number 3. Someone asked me what's in tub number 3. Well, basically every age of worm there is. Because I put them in here, they reproduce in here. They do everything in here. So there's not a specific age of worm in here. Just everyone lives here. This is the remember the watermelon that wouldn't disappear? Oh, I can't believe this thing is like still around. That is so bizarre. Look at that. What is wrong with this thing? And look at all the springtails and the worms. I will say, I have never ever seen a watermelon like that. I don't even know if I'm going to keep it in here. It's just taking too long. I think there's something wrong with it. But for the amount of juice that this thing releases, I don't see the amount of worms that I'm normally seeing, which I think is weird. But anyway, let's put it back and just cover it up. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever seen this with a watermelon, so I'm a little baffled. Other than that, the bin looks good. Worms are good. I have to harvest this one a little bit. I'm seeing all ages of worms in here. This is some worm chow that I spilled on here. So I'm just leaving it there and they'll eat it. Let's check on the other end. Oh look, the stump. So still dealing with the pumpkin trees. But you notice there's less of them because they're finally starting to die down. The worms are doing fine though, even with that thing in the middle. Now I'm letting them reproduce in here so that their numbers grow a little bit. So let's check out tub number 2. Now I have 6 of these tubs. And this one has a pumpkin. And these tubs are like, they're like my backup plan. You know, if I ever run out of worms, I come in here. Because they're constantly reproducing. Now look at that. See how mushy these worms are? That's how I normally see them in the watermelon. But you see, I'm not seeing that in the watermelon, which is like weird. I mean, look at that. They look amazing. And the pumpkin is getting all mush. So I'm going to just leave them there. Let's cover this up a little bit. You know, sometimes that happens, I guess. I've never seen it happen with a watermelon, but you get these bizarre things that you gotta like figure out, like what's going on. So this one is also reproducing. I reset this about less than a month ago. So I don't see many worms on this side. And this tub number 2 is a little drier than what I'd like. See, look, there aren't many worms here because they're all headed towards the pumpkin. But this is a new bin, newer. So I'm letting them just reproduce in here. And before you know it, this tub will be full of worms. Full of worms. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And I do my best to answer every question. If I don't answer it, I definitely see it. And I've been helping some people through email. You know, they need help, they have questions. And I don't mind doing that. It's my pleasure. So this is tub number 1. So this one, I had a lot of leaf litter in. So there, look how much darker the bedding is. You notice? When you feed leaf litter to worms, look at the difference in color. Their casting just comes out super dark. And they love it because this is like a natural food for them. Look, they love the leaf litter. Anytime I put leaves on the surface and I wet it, I come back a few days later and you'll see the worms right on the surface under the leaves, just working it. Look at that. Yeah, this tub, this one is one of my favorites. Like, it's doing well, very well. That one next door will catch up. Number 2. I gotta go in the forest and get some leaves. Look at that. So they're doing good. But yeah, these castings are definitely darker. So I have a bunch of dry leaves here. I'll just bury it. Let's see over here. Oh boy. There's a lot of them here. Little tree. More little trees. So, wow, look how dark. Someone asked me, how do you know when the castings are done? You kind of just know. with experience, you'll learn that it kind of looks like a dark coffee grind compared to like whatever other bedding you have in there. And you'll see it. One day you'll come and it'll just be like these little dark coffee grinds. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh. So look, this is casting right here. You could tell because it's dark and it's, well, it looks like coffee grinds. So if I were to dry this out and sift it out, I would get like this black casting, which I do sell on my website. I think I have it up for sale. I don't remember. I use a lot of it in my own personal garden because the stuff that that I grow using the castings is like amazing. Let's check on the other end here. So every once in a while, you know, you gotta fluff your bins up. It's good to get oxygen in there so it doesn't get compacted. Some material will get compacted, so you gotta like help it out a little bit. Fluff it up, give it some air. Now, I rarely fluff up the breeder bins on the wall over there because if I want them to breed, they don't like to be disturbed. So I rarely fluff those up unless I think I have a problem or I see something weird, then I'll do it. But these guys I fluff up. And you see, look, see that blackness? That's castings right here. Castings are dark. They don't hurt your plants. I dilute them and make a tea and also use it as a like worm fertilizer for the plants, like worm tea fertilizer. I use it in my garden out there. I spray it on the plants. It's never hurt them. It's like one of the best things that Mother Nature's ever created. It's amazing. So anyway, guys, today is Monday. My next video will be on Friday. And I hope you enjoyed this. And now that I have the room empty, I'm going to show you my process of watering and feeding the entire wall and how long it actually takes me. All right, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to press that subscribe button. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.